Hello everyone and welcome back to another custom doll making YouTube video. This video, Emma and I have something very special in store for you all. It is a original design that we created together for another Lunar New Year doll. This year is the year of the snake, which is very special to Emma and I will share with you later. I'm super in love with how this doll turned out. There was a few different sketches that we did, and then here is what the finalized sketch design looks like for this doll. I'm so excited for you guys to see how we made her, so let's get started. For today's custom doll, we are using a more challenging base doll this time around. This is one of the OG Monster High Creator Monster dolls. This is the Gorgon doll, which I thought would fit perfectly for a snake custom. For those of you that are familiar with the OG Monster High Creator Monster dolls, they came with this center piece on the top of the head that is a very hard plastic used to hold the wigs in place, and you can't reroute that. So when it came to the design for this doll, I had to base the hairstyle entirely around the fact that she will have a big bald spot in the center of her head, and hopefully it turns out okay. Also, as you just saw, I had to individually put holes into this doll's head for every single plug because these dolls did wear wigs, they were not rooted, and that was a bit of a time-consuming process. However, I do like that it opens the door for creativity and you can kind of do any rooting pattern you want. And here is how the doll's reroot turned out. You can see a little preview of the hairstyle I'm doing, a twisted bun on top to cover up that big bald spot that we will pretend does not exist. I do think that I was able to actually hide it really well because I did basically two hairlines. A hairline around that entire circle of hard plastic did help hiding a lot of the baldness. Now I'm going in with my 100% acetone and some Q-tips to remove all of that factory paint. This doll is going to get a complete face change. There is absolutely no similarities in the eye shape, makeup, any of that once this doll is done when I am finished with the face up. While I do appreciate that we got this Gorgon face mold, I feel like she just wasn't really done her full justice with the orange eyeshadow. I'm not really too big a fan on that, but I also think this doll could pass as like a really cool like reptile of like any other kind, maybe not specifically a snake, like a alligator or crocodile or something. I don't know. I feel like someone could do a really cool custom with that. Now for this face up, I wanted to try my best to keep this expression light and airy because in the end this is a very light and elegant looking custom, so obviously I didn't want her to have like the high arched angry expression eyebrows, but I am really craving doing a really fierce looking expression on a custom in the future, so hopefully I get to put that energy into a doll soon. I really want to do it. You'll also see on this doll, I didn't really go for an extravagant makeup look. I thought that would take away from the whole outfit, and also the overall vibe of this custom is not super loud. It's hard to explain. She's loud in other ways that are more so just like beautiful. I don't know. One big reason why I wanted to do another Lunar New Year doll this year is because Emma and I are both the Year of the Snake. Shout out to all my other Year of the Snake girlies out there. It's said that the snake zodiac is meant to represent someone being mysterious and elegant, and also represents high intelligence, which maybe that didn't really go to me, but it also represents shedding your skin and personal growth, you know, like how a snake sheds their skin, and you just grow more as a person and find out who you are in time. So yeah, I hope everyone this year is able to experience their own personal growth, because that is something very important, and I feel like I am in a stage of personal growth, which is very, I don't know, very surreal to like recognize you're in that stage. It's like, what is happening? I'm like, my brain is working differently. What's going on? So for this face, I wanted her to kind of exude that mysterious elegance, charm, wisdom, which is, it's difficult to do in a face, more so specifically the eyes is what kind of gives you the most expression, I personally feel. So I don't know, I tried my best. Let me know if I kind of gave off that vibe with her. I also didn't want to go too extreme in one expression, so kind of just wanted her to have a neutral, resting face. As you can probably tell, pink is the accent color for this custom, so I wanted to have lots of blushing and very floral pink shades in the makeup with lots of highlighter because I wanted her to feel very shiny and glittery. Also, it's very hard to tell on camera, but the vinyl on this doll has gold sparkles, gold flakes in it. In person, it's very apparent, but on camera, I don't see it at all. When Emma and I were creating the design for this custom, we were drawing out several things. I think I did 3 drawings maybe of different outfits and hair and all that, accessories in the hair, everything. And then we didn't go with any of those and kind of free-handed it based around the drawings that we did. So I want to go back and redraw this doll in her finished look because I, one, am obsessed with this doll. She's probably one of my favorite customs we've done in a long time. Again, I say that every time, but this one, it's always so much more personal when it's like something you've created, and when Emma and I create stuff together, I think it's like the best thing ever. So I really want to draw her and share that as well somewhere if I finish it. Who knows? I'm the worst at finishing drawings, please. It's so bad. I'm actually so obsessed with this doll that my creative writing self has come back to the light, and I wanted to add like a little bit of lore to this doll and her character. So I was doing research, and I've decided that the best snake suited for this doll is the Chinese green snake. Obviously, she had to be green, so that was already narrowed down my options by a lot. But also the Chinese green snake typically is living just in the trees and on the ground. And this is the Chinese New Year, year of the wood snake. Normally they put like an element attached to the new year, and it's the wood snake, so I figured that would also fit very well. They're also very mild-mannered snakes that hardly ever bite. I didn't want her to be like a vicious snake that's like, I thought that if she was like a viper or something, that would make her seem very aggressive, and she does not present as an aggressive looking character. So I wanted her to be very mild-mannered. If you piss her off, she might bite you though, so watch out. Now, if I'm following like the lore of the Monster High Diaries and I want to give her like a favorite food, Chinese green snakes, like typically their diet just consists of like earthworms, but I don't know if it would be like a fun little punny thing to like convert that into like a Chinese food as well, because she's like a humanoid character. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe like the earthworms are like noodles like in a Chinese dish or something. I don't know, maybe just dumplings, earthworm dumplings. That sounds disgusting, actually. Now, Chinese green snakes typically just have golden brown eyes, but I did not want to do that for this doll. I wanted her to have beautiful light blue eyes with a hint of brown in them, just because I want to do what I want to do. I don't care. There's a certain point where I will follow the lore extensively too, okay? For the design, I thought blue eyes would be better suited for her, and so that's what I did. That's it. If anyone wants to complain about it, feel free. I don't care. I'm not changing it. Also, if you want me to be on the defensive about it, sometimes snakes have like the blue eye phase whenever they're in the shedding process, so their eyes appear blue because they have like little like scales over their eyes. I forget what it's called. So yeah, maybe she's in her shedding process because she is growing and becoming a new person or whatever. For her eyebrows, like I said, I didn't want them to have a high arch or anything. I wanted her to be in a more neutral, resting expression, so it's not too fierce. And I struggled with choosing a color for her eyebrows. I didn't want to do white because I thought that would be way too striking and honestly might get washed out because this doll is going to have bangs later. And I didn't want to do black either because then I thought that would just be like way too contrasting and your eyes would immediately go to her eyebrows. So I opted for a light brown that goes into a little darker brown at the ends of the eyebrows. Hopefully that looks all right. I think it looks fine. When I look at the face finished, I have the doll sitting right in front of me, like on the side, so I can reference anything I want to say about her while I'm doing this. But yeah, for the lips, I have no idea why this pink looks super light in the video, but I'm painting her lips a slightly dark mauve neutral tone. I wanted her to have like a little rosy pinkish kind of color to her lips, but not red, more on the pink side. I'm trying to remember if I like painted them in this really light pink at first and I just forgot, but I don't think that I did. So I have no idea why this color looks like this. And you know, going back for a second, probably the most crucial bit of lore I could give this character would first of all be a name, which I'm just terrible at. I've been making Monster High OC since I was in middle school, and the puns and the monster stuff, I'm just so bad at naming characters. I don't know. So if anyone has a name they have in mind that really speaks to them for this character, please feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'd love to pick out like a name from the fans or something. Or maybe I need to talk to Emma, of course, if Emma has a really good name too. I don't know. Also, off camera, I painted on this detail of a Huadian in between her eyebrows because I had to freehand it and I was not like sketching it with pencil beforehand. That's why I did it off camera. I really didn't want to mess it up. For those who don't know, a Huadian is like a traditional Chinese ornamental makeup adornment that women would put between their eyebrows on their forehead. Usually looking like flowers and things like that. The one I found for reference was actually something that was found on wooden figurines. So went in with the wooden snake theme, and I also thought it kind of looked like scales, so I thought it fit in very well. For this doll's hairstyle, I wanted to do some more intricate detailing, so I bought this really thin jewelry wire and these beautiful crystal beads that are made from green aventurine. I think that's how you say that, I'm so sorry. Which is actually a crystal used for like healing properties, like emotional healing, so very cool if you're a crystal girly. This doll has some actual crystals. So I knew that I wanted to do the main decorating around the twisted bun, so I was wrapping this really thin jewelry wire all the way around, kind of like I wanted it to look like a snake being wrapped around the bun. It was a little bit tricky because I'm just like freehanding everything. I have no like actual method of doing anything. I'm just using my hands. But then I put the crystal beads on the jewelry wire and just like spun them around and put them in random places, and then made sure I secured them with some super glue because I didn't want them to just like slide all over the place. And yeah, then I added a big bead in the center and kind of made it look like the head of the snake almost. I don't know. I'm kind of just like freehanding everything. I found these really cool ribbon flowers that Emma had in her desk, and I took one of those with her permission, of course, to add that as the main centerpiece for her headpiece. Centerpiece for the headpiece, yeah. I don't know. And now I'm actually going to show you how I cut the bangs in my very professional way of doing this. These are not hair cutting scissors that I'm using. I'm just chopping them because you can always cut them shorter, but you can't add hair to make it longer. So the bangs are going to be shorter than this, but this is just my blunt chop at the beginning. Normally, I just never film me doing anything with hairstyling for custom dolls because I think I am just like not the person to teach anybody how to do that, because there's so many great creators on this platform that know how to do doll hair. So I'm learning from them. Like, you guys might think you might be learning from me. No, I am learning from other people. So it's hard for me to give any sort of advice on what to do when it comes to hair. So after this blunt chop, I go in with some actual hair cutting scissors and trim the bangs up to the length that I want them to be at, and add some got-to-be glue hair gel to hold those in place for all eternity. And this is how the doll is looking so far. I added some more wire to these braids and some ribbons at the bottom. I think this is super, super pretty. I also cut out these really tiny flower petals that I added to her cheeks, and I think that detail is stunning. Love this doll so much.
So originally for this outfit, I wanted it to be red and gold, like a traditional Lunar New Year look, but after further research into the snake, I decided the best course of action would be for a lotus themed doll. And oh my gosh, you guys are gonna be so excited for this. So a lotus flower is super, super symbolic in Chinese culture. It's about purity, grace, and rebirth. It's born from the mud and blooms into this beautiful flower in the water. And our snake doll will look perfect for that vibe. I wanted this hanfu to look like a lotus flower rising up out of a pond. I wanted it to be soft. I wanted it to be ethereal. I wanted it to be layered. So I went in with some sheer chiffon silk in a petal pink, a creamy white, a nice pistachio green, and there will also be little touches of gold to represent the center of a lotus flower. So firstly, I'm going to be starting off with the skirt. The skirt, I decided to make this pretty pink because pink is the main focal point of this outfit and the skirt is the largest part. If you're going to be working with chiffon in the future, please fray check your fabric. It is so important. It'll keep everything from unraveling, believe me. I'm going to apply some stabilizer to the top of the fabric to keep these pleats in place. The only thing we have left to do is pin the hell out of this, sew it together, and iron down the pleats, and it is so satisfying and it looks so pretty and silky. Love it. When designing the pattern, I wanted it to be based on the Tang Dynasty silhouette. It is so beautiful, so elegant. So for that, she will have beautiful exaggerated sleeves, a sash at her waist, and a beautiful flowing skirt, but not too flowing as I wanted it to represent kind of like a sleek silhouette that a snake has. Then with the white chiffon, I just made an underskirt so her bits aren't hanging out. My favorite part of this hanfu is this green layers I'm adding to the dress right now. It is giving the leaves coming out of the flower. It looks so beautiful. It's so grounding. It's just the symbolism in this doll is so important to me. On a more serious note, this design is really special to me. It's about being beautiful and strong and telling a story through the details of it. And as a seamstress, I love when you can make something not just look pretty, but have a story behind it. I really hope you guys can feel the energy I put behind this doll, and maybe you get even a little bit inspired to create something symbolic and beautiful of your own. Please, I would love to see it, and I love reading into things like this. It's so beautiful, and it brings a whole nother layer of meaning. Now for the finishing touches, I am just adding these microscopic beads all along the sash, and I am also adding them onto the front of the dress, as you will see, and with that, this doll is done.
I am so proud of how this doll turned out. The work that Emma and I put into making this doll was totally worth it, and I love the design. And this is definitely like a color combination that I don't think we have done before, especially using green in most of the design. And I am seriously in love with this doll. And it's always the original concepts that are harder for me to let go of, but of course this doll will be available in our shop within the coming days. So if you are in love with this doll as much as we are, be sure to check out my Instagram where I will update when this doll is going up for sale, and she will be available early access to Patreon members. As always, huge shout out and thank you to all of our Patreon members. You guys are literally the best, and I love being able to share like upcoming and sneak peeks and behind the scenes stuff over on Patreon for you all. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, of course. And also I wanted to say while I'm here, this is also not our first Chinese Lunar New Year doll. Yes, we did make the dragon, but we've also made the snake before. This is like one of our oldest, might be like one of the first dolls that Emma and I made together. It is definitely, you can see it's an older one, but yeah. But I think it's still really cool to see how far we've come and like the before and after of us growing our skills. I think Emma and I have come a really long way, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in future customizing doll videos. Bye!